Wait, my child, do not scroll away for a moment. Something unusual is happening right now, and if you are hearing these words, it is not random timing, it is not coincidence, and it is not simply another message passing through your day. There are moments when heaven interrupts the ordinary rhythm of life. Moments when something quiet but powerful reaches through the noise of the world and calls a specific heart to listen. And in this moment, my beloved, that heart is yours. You may have opened this message out of curiosity, or perhaps you felt an unexplainable pull, a subtle whisper that told you to stay for just a little longer. That feeling was not accidental. Heaven often speaks softly before it speaks clearly. And what you are about to hear carries a weight that your spirit has been preparing to receive. Something has been unfolding around your life in ways you have not fully understood yet, and the timing of this message is connected to that unfolding. Before these words continue any further, pause for a second and breathe. Let your heart become still. And if you believe that God may have guided you here for a reason, you may quietly type Amen in the comments as a small declaration of faith, not for anyone else, but as a moment between your heart and heaven. Because, my child, there is something I must reveal to you slowly, something that cannot be rushed. Many people move through their days, unaware that unseen things are happening around them. But there are moments when heaven chooses to lift the veil just enough for someone to recognize that their story is not as ordinary as it once appeared. You have been sensing it recently, haven't you? That strange mixture of confusion and expectation. Things in your life have not been aligning the way you once thought they would. Some doors that looked promising closed without explanation. Certain plans that felt secure suddenly dissolved. And at times you wondered if you had misunderstood the path entirely. But what if those moments were not losses the way you believed? What if something greater was quietly rearranging your steps while you were trying to understand the delay? Stay with me for a moment longer, my beloved, because the answer to that question is closer than you realize. There is a reason you are hearing these words today, and if your heart is already beginning to sense it, you may comment yes as a simple way of acknowledging that something inside you recognizes the truthing begin to unfold. Listen carefully now, because the next part of this message carries something many people overlook. Not every delay in your life has been a denial. Some delays are a form of protection so precise that you cannot recognize it until the moment of revelation arrives. Think about the seasons when you felt forgotten, when it seemed like others were moving forward while your path remained still. Those quiet seasons were not empty. Heaven was working in places you could not see yet. Pieces were being arranged. Conversations were happening beyond your awareness, and circumstances were being redirected so that a future moment, one that is now approaching, could unfold exactly the way it was meant to. If you feel even a small stirring in your spirit right now, as if something you have experienced suddenly makes a little more sense, you might write, "I receive," in the comments as a declaration that you are open to what heaven is revealing in this moment. Dear family, before we continue, I want to share something important. Recently our channel was demonetized by YouTube, which means we no longer receive earnings from these videos. Yet every message here takes many hours of prayer, writing, recording, and editing. Our mission is to bring hope and encouragement to those who feel lost, lonely, or overwhelmed. Without support, it becomes very difficult for us to keep creating these messages and continue running this channel. If these messages have ever helped or inspired you, you can support this mission through the links in the description or the pinned comment. Buy me a coffee. Even a small contribution helps us continue creating these messages and reaching people who need them the most. Thank you for your love, support, and prayers, God bless you. Now let your heart settle again, my beloved, because the message continues exactly where heaven intended it to. The reason you have been guided to hear these words is not only to comfort you about the past, but to prepare you for something that is beginning to shift quietly in your present moment. For a long time you believed that certain chapters of your life had closed permanently. You convinced yourself that some opportunities had passed you by, that certain dreams had been misplaced somewhere along the road. But heaven does not measure time the way human hearts do. What appears late to you can still arrive perfectly on time in the greater design that surrounds your life. Even now, there are movements happening in places you cannot yet see. Conversations, alignments, and opportunities are beginning to draw closer to your path in ways that will soon become undeniable. But before those things appear fully, there is something you must understand. Many of the battles you have felt recently were not ordinary struggles. Some of them were spiritual pressures, designed to make you question your direction, to make you doubt the quiet calling you felt deep within your heart. You may remember nights when your thoughts felt heavier than usual, when discouragement tried to settle into your spirit like a fog that refused to lift. Those moments were not random. When something meaningful is preparing to emerge in someone's life, resistance often appears first. It tries to convince the heart to turn away just before the breakthrough becomes visible. That is why this message found you today. You were never meant to give up during those moments of uncertainty. Take a breath and remain here with these words. Let them settle gently in your spirit. Something important is being revealed piece by piece, and it cannot be rushed. The path you have walked has been forming a kind of quiet strength inside you, a resilience that will soon become necessary for the next chapter ahead. Many people desire blessings without preparation, but heaven prepares the heart before it releases what has been promised. The disappointments you endured shaped your understanding. The waiting seasons deepened your patience. Even the confusion taught you how to listen more carefully to the quiet voice guiding your steps. There is another truth you need to hear now, my child, and this is where the mystery begins to open further. Some of the people who left your life were never meant to walk into the next season with you. At the time, their absence may have felt painful or even unfair. You wondered why certain relationships faded or why support disappeared when you needed it most. But what you could not see then was that heaven sometimes removes distractions so that the path ahead becomes clearer. If those people had remained, they might have unintentionally pulled you away from what was being prepared for you. What once felt like rejection was often quiet redirection. If that realization is touching your heart right now, you may type 1111 in the comments as a small sign that you trust God's timing, even when the reasons are revealed slowly. Stay with this message, my beloved, because something deeper is about to unfold. The past season of waiting is not repeating itself forever. There is a turning point approaching in your life, one that will make several things suddenly make sense. The signs of it may appear in simple ways at firsting. A conversation that opens an unexpected door, an idea that arrives with unusual clarity, or a moment when the right opportunity appears exactly when you were about to stop expecting it. These moments may seem small when they first arrive, but they will carry a feeling that is unmistakable, a quiet confirmation that heaven has been guiding your steps all along. And when that moment arrives, you will remember this message, because this was never only about comfort. This was preparation. The truth is that something has already begun shifting around you, even if you cannot see the full picture yet. Certain delays are lifting, certain alignments are quietly forming, and the peace you have been searching for is not as far away as you once believed. If your spirit feels even a hint of hope returning while you listen to these words, you may type Amen again, not out of habit, but as a declaration that you are ready for what is unfolding. Remain still for a moment longer, my beloved, because heaven rarely rushes the most meaningful revelations. What is coming into your life will not arrive with chaos or confusion. It will arrive with clarity, with peace, and with a quiet certainty that tells your heart you are finally standing in the right place at the right time. And when that realization settles into your spirit, you will understand why the waiting was necessary, why the closed doors were protection, and why this message found you today, exactly when it did. If you believe that something is already beginning to shift in your life, you may type 777 in the comments as a declaration of faith that the next chapter is already being written. And as those words settle quietly within you, my beloved, there is another truth that heaven now begins to unveil. Something that may explain the strange sense of anticipation you have been carrying recently. You may have felt it in subtle ways, like a quiet stirring in your spirit that you could not fully explain. Perhaps there were moments when you paused during an ordinary day and felt a sudden awareness that something was changing, even though nothing visible had happened yet. That feeling was not imagination. My child, heaven often prepares the heart before the visible moment arrives. Long before the world can recognize a shift, the spirit begins to sense it first. What you have been feeling is the early whisper of alignment. Something that has been prepared for you is drawing closer to your life, and the quiet tension you feel is not anxiety. It is the awareness that the season of waiting is beginning to loosen its grip. Stay with these words carefully, because the next part of this message carries something your heart has been longing to understand. There were times when you looked back at certain disappointments and wondered if they meant you had taken a wrong turn somewhere. You questioned your decisions, replayed conversations in your mind, and wondered if perhaps you had missed the moment that was meant for you. But my beloved, heaven has never been confused about your path. Even when you felt uncertain, even when you doubted yourself, even when the road seemed unclear, the greater design surrounding your life was still moving forward. What appeared to you as delay was often a quiet recalibration, a gentle adjustment ensuring that when the right moment arrived, it would meet you in the exact place where you were meant to stand. You see, my child, destiny rarely unfolds in the dramatic ways people expect. It does not always arrive with thunder or sudden announcements. More often, it begins quietly, like the first light of morning appearing long before the sun rises fully into the sky. The early glow may seem small, almost unnoticeable to those who are distracted, but those who are watching carefully can sense that something is changing. In the same way, the shifts around your life may begin with subtle confirmations. Small doors opening where there were once walls, new understanding arriving where there was once confusion, and unexpected peace settling into your heart even before the external circumstances change. These are the signs that alignment has already begun. Take a moment and breathe slowly while you listen, my beloved, because the next revelation requires stillness to be received. There are blessings that were never meant to arrive during your earlier seasons because you were still becoming the person capable of carrying them. Heaven does not release certain gifts until the heart has been strengthened enough to hold them without fear or pride. The patience you learned during your waiting season was not wasted time. The resilience you built through disappointment was shaping the foundation for what is ahead. Even the questions you asked in moments of uncertainty were guiding you closer to a deeper understanding of who you truly are. And perhaps now you can begin to see why certain doors remained closed for so long. If those doors had opened earlier, You might have stepped into spaces where your spirit was not yet ready to stand. But heaven protects the journey with a wisdom that often becomes clear only after the path has unfolded. What once felt like restriction was often divine preservation. What felt like silence was often quiet preparation. If this truth is beginning to resonate within your heart right now, you may type "Amen" in the comments as a simple declaration that you recognize the hand of God moving even through the seasons you did not understand. But listen closely, my beloved, because something more profound is beginning to surface in this moment. The coming shift in your life is not only about external opportunities or visible changes. The deeper transformation is happening inside you. There is a clarity forming within your spirit that will guide your next steps with a confidence you have not felt before. In the past, you often looked outward for confirmation, searching for signs from people or circumstances before trusting your direction. But the season ahead will teach you to recognize the quiet authority within your own spirit, the inner knowing that comes when heaven aligns a path specifically for you. This inner clarity will become one of your greatest gifts moving forward. You will begin to recognize which opportunities carry peace and which ones carry hidden tension. You will sense when a conversation holds genuine purpose and when it is simply noise. And as this discernment grows stronger within you, you will notice that your steps become more intentional, more focused, and more aligned with the deeper calling that has been resting quietly within your life all along. Remain present with these words, my child, because the unfolding revelation is still continuing. There is something about your journey that has always carried a quiet uniqueness. You may have noticed that your path rarely looked identical to the paths of those around you. While others moved quickly through certain stages, your journey seemed to take longer, with unexpected turns and pauses along the way. At times this made you feel as if you were falling behind. But heaven was never measuring your life by the pace of others. Your story was unfolding according to a design that required specific experiences, specific lessons, and specific timing. The moments when you felt different from others were not signs of misalignment. They were indications that your path was being shaped for something distinct. And now, as the next chapter begins to approach, those unique experiences will start connecting in ways that surprise you. Conversations that once seemed insignificant will suddenly make sense. Skills you developed quietly in the background will become valuable in unexpected situations. Even the struggles you overcame will serve as guidance for someone else who is still walking through a similar valley. If your spirit feels this truth rising within you right now, you may comment "Yes" as a quiet agreement with what heaven is revealing. And there is one more layer to this message that must be spoken carefully, my beloved, because it carries both reassurance and responsibility. The breakthrough that is approaching your life will not only bless you, it will also position you to influence others in ways you may not yet realize. Your experiences have given you a depth of understanding that cannot be learned through easy seasons alone. The compassion you carry for others was shaped by the challenges you endured. The patience you now possess was formed during moments when answers did not arrive quickly. Because of this, when the next doors begin to open, you will find yourself becoming a source of encouragement for people who are still searching for hope. Your story will remind them that waiting seasons do not mean forgotten seasons. Your journey will become a living example that delays can carry purpose beyond what the heart can see in the moment. Pause here for a moment, my beloved, and allow these words to settle gently into your spirit. Heaven is not rushing this revelation, because what is being spoken to you now is meant to remain with you long after this message ends. The shift approaching your life will not arrive as a fleeting moment. It will unfold gradually, step by step, in ways that build stability rather than sudden chaos. you will begin to notice signs that your environment is changing. Certain opportunities will begin appearing that match the direction your heart has been quietly moving toward. New connections may enter your life. People who understand your vision without needing long explanations. These individuals will recognize the authenticity within your spirit, and their presence will confirm that alignment has truly begun. When these moments start to appear, remember what you heard today. Remember that heaven had already prepared the path before your eyes could see it. And if, in this moment, you feel even a gentle spark of hope awakening again within your heart, you may declare, "I receive," in the comments as a simple expression of faith that what is being prepared for you is already drawing closer. Now remain here just a little longer, my beloved, because the message is not finished yet. There is still more being revealed. And the next part of this unfolding truth carries a quiet promising the season ahead will not look like the season behind you. The lessons of the past have already done their work. The patience you learned has already strengthened your spirit, and the time that once felt like waiting is slowly transforming into the moment of arrival. If you believe that something is already shifting around your life even now, you may type 777 in the comments as a declaration that you trust what heaven is aligning for you at this very moment.